My name is Treasure, and I am 40 years old. I have money. I have beauty. But I have never been married. Not because I didn't want to, but because something dark, something ancient, refused to let me go. This is my story. I was born under strange circumstances. My mother, Mama Eben, had been barren for 11 years. She went to different hospitals, herbal homes, even mountain prayers, no child. One night, when the pain became too much to bear, she sneaked out and went to a mysterious river known in our village as the Eek, the river of the python. There, she cried bitterly, shouting into the night. "Give me a child. I will do anything. Just take this shame away from me." They say at exactly 3 a.m., the river stirred. Mist covered the surface, and out of the fog, a tall woman with glowing skin and waist-length white hair emerged. She smiled gently and said, "A child will be given to you. But she will belong to us." Mama Eben said amen without knowing she was shaking hands with a covenant from hell. 9 months later, she gave birth to me. And she named me Treasure, because I was her long-awaited miracle. From the age of 4, I began to have strange dreams. I would see myself inside a big glass palace under the ocean. It was beautiful, filled with gold, coral lights, and music. There, I had a husband, half man, half snake, and 12 spirit children who looked like me. In real life, I was quiet, withdrawn, and had a strange connection to water. I could swim deeper than any adult. Whenever we passed by a river, I would laugh or wave like I saw someone calling me. My mother noticed. But out of guilt, she kept quiet. At 15, I began to have terrible nightmares. A tall figure with glowing eyes would come into my dreams. He would say, "You are mine. Forever." Every night, I would wake up wet, panting, and afraid. My bedsheets were soaked, even though there was no heat. Sometimes, I had orgasms in my sleep, things I didn't understand. And every time a boy tried to talk to me, he would mysteriously fall sick or lose interest without reason. At 22, I met Emeka. He was kind, handsome, and ready for marriage. The night after he proposed, his car exploded in front of his house. He survived but lost both legs. At 29, a pastor came to me and said, "You are married in the spirit. No man will survive if he tries to marry you." At 35, I stopped trying. Instead, I focused on my business and became very wealthy. I owned 2 boutiques, a spa, and real estate. But at night, I was haunted. I had sex every single night in the dream. Sometimes with the snake man. Other times with different faces. I would feel everything, pain, pleasure, heat, even bruises. And during the day, I suffered from unexplained sicknesses. Heavy bleeding. Strange body odor like rotten fish. Pain in my womb. Sudden depression. And infertility doctors couldn't explain. I cried to God, but silence was my only answer. Then came the breaking point. At age 39, I received a wedding invitation. It was Henry, my ex, marrying another woman. We had dated for 4 years. He suddenly left me with no explanation. Now he was getting married. I locked myself in my room that night. I fell on my knees beside my bed and prayed for the first time in years. God, what is wrong with me? Why don't I have a husband? Am I cursed? Then I slept. In the dream, I found myself back at the river. I was naked, tied to a white chair. The snake man came, twice as tall, with red eyes. "You are mine. You can never leave. We have children. You are their queen." I screamed and screamed. And then, from above, a giant hand of fire appeared. It reached down, pulled me out of the chair, and the snake hissed and vanished into flames. I woke up crying. Sweating. My heart pounding. That morning, I ran to a church I had never entered before. The moment I entered, the prophet screamed, "Marine spirit! You are the wife of a river demon." I collapsed. I rolled on the floor. My voice changed. The python spirit inside me began to speak. She belongs to us. She fed at our table. Her mother gave her to us. She has 12 children here. Church members began to pray. They poured oil. They sang worship songs. They cried out to Jesus. It took 7 hours, but finally, the chains broke. You are free, the prophet shouted. I vomited black water. My stomach flattened. I felt like a heavy load was lifted off my chest. But I didn't know that my story was only just beginning. Because 3 months later, while walking under the rain, thinking of all I had lost, a car slowed down beside me. A tall man stepped out with a smile and said, "Hello. I'm Daniel. I just returned from Japan. And I think I've finally found my treasure."